Firstly, want to give a shout out to Mr.Negative 26, who just made a bunch of renders for me without me ever saying anything. The dude's a legend. Make sure to check him out on Twitter and his Deviant page, both are linked in the description below. Dude's way better than I am at them, so thank you for your help, man. Well, welcome everyone to part 8 of What If Goku Married Suno. And in the last part, we had Trunks, or should I say Boxer, arriving from the future. That's right, we got the name change. A lot of you guys agreed that he would likely have a different name, but still wanted his name to be in line with the naming themes of the Brief family. And out of all the suggestions I've seen, this one was just my personal fave, but also because there was a lot of people saying this one. But anyway, we had Boxer arriving from the future with his warning and medicine, because I think I did forget to mention the heart disease in the last part, and using the Musco X explanation, we don't have like 100% proof of why Goku gets the heart virus. People say it's because of Yardrat, but I haven't found any like actual evidence myself of that being the case, so he still went to Yardrat in this what if, so regardless he's still getting the heart virus here. But before we go any further, make sure to like and sub with notifications on to stay up to date with my what ifs, and also look at graph. Cheers. Now when we last left off in the last part, I did it in a way that I could cover each group's training for the next 3 years. Also, I want to go everyone's training like right now. Starting with Vegeta, who unsurprisingly does what he does in canon and ends up missing in action as far as everyone else is concerned. People like Tien hoping he doesn't come back. Though in this time, Vegeta's training heavily in his gravity chamber / ship. Well, technically not his, but Dr. Brief's, but anyway. Vegeta mastering 300 times Earth's gravity, and by the time he arrives back on Earth, he's a Super Saiyan. And at this point is arguably stronger than Goku. But yes, he does come back a bit late, so he's not there for the start of the arc. Then moving on to Goku, Suno, Gohan and Piccolo, since they're all training together here. Piccolo is both like an adopted son by Suno and Gohan's best friend, so it's a pretty happy 3 years of training they have. Although Goku will still have the heart virus, he doesn't immediately take the medicine like canon. Piccolo and Gohan are the ones who gain the most out of this training, and since there is an extra training partner in Suno, their gains are slightly higher than usual. But besides that, for Goku, this is a very peaceful 3 years, as he gets to do exactly what he wants during that time, which is training, though he's pretty eager to meet this next threat. But Piccolo, off the side, is making sure to push his Kaioken mastery further, and put his max after 3 years at 40 times Kaioken. Tien goes off to train while traveling the world like usual, with his buddy Chaozu helping him with his efforts. Tien here is pretty highly motivated. Krillin trains at home in Ox King Village with Chi-Chi and Amon, focusing a bit on his son Amon to teach him various techniques and to try sharpen his martial arts more. Though, due to Krillin focusing more on the training of his son rather than himself, Chi-Chi surpasses Krillin in power over this time skip. Though, Amon does end up with some pretty significant gains. Yamcha, after hearing of a new threat, decides to stop slacking, since with Kaioken, if he just trained hard enough, he'll be useful still. So he ends up getting himself back into shape, which over 3 years, yeah, he'll be back in shape and then some at that point. There is a reason I left this man's till last, but now we got Ada, rocking a Capsule Corp outfit now. Big shout out to Mr.Negative for this one. But over the time skip, and with him being upgraded constantly over that time, I would now put him at the strength of what Mecha Frieza was at. My only reason for Mecha Frieza in particular is because this version of Bulma was there, and now has some experience of what Frieza was capable of. And with Frieza's ship left behind, she got to salvage a lot of space tech over the time skip, which came in handy for upgrading Ada and his firewall. Now our boy won't be susceptible to any kind of hacking business, but before we continue on to the story, let's cover the power rankings real quick. Vegeta is slightly stronger than Goku. Goku is a bit stronger than Piccolo, though Piccolo with Kaioken can beat Boxer in Super Saiyan. Boxer is stronger than Ada since Ada is literally on Mecha Frieza's level and Boxer already beat Mecha Frieza. Ada is a bit stronger than Tien. Tien is slightly stronger than Gohan. Gohan is stronger than Suno, but when enraged can become stronger than Ada momentarily. Suno is slightly stronger than Yamcha. Yamcha is slightly stronger than Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is a little bit stronger than Krillin, and Krillin is on par with Amon. And now moving into the next bit, the 3 years have passed now, and all our heroes, minus Vegeta, as he is currently missing in action, land on South Island just outside South City, and wait for the time the androids are supposed to be showing up. Everyone is kinda surprised to see both Bulma and Tights holding small children. Yes, I'm making this the moment for Yamcha and Bulma to have a kid too. So when they ask Bulma if Yamcha is the dad, his response is like, who else would it be? kind of ironic. I know a couple of y'all wanted me to have them have children earlier, like alongside Gohan and Amon, but I think it's more fun for me personally this way. But Tights is only here since she did get with Vegeta, and through him and Bulma, she was made aware of this android threat, and like her sister, wanted to check it out. The Brief family seems to be brave to a fault, but while waiting, Yajirobe appears and hands Goku a bag of senzu beans, and goes on his way. Though before he's totally out of sight, suddenly his car explodes, getting everyone's attention. This leading to the group discovering that, since they are androids, they don't have key signatures. In fact, this time that conversation goes a bit quicker since Ada is there, and they can't sense him. They ask Ada if his power scanner will work, but no, it works the same as their sensing energies work. If they got no key signature, he can't detect it. So they all go into the city to investigate. Amon going to Yajirobe's rescue, and also to take Yajirobe home after he starts bickering about how his car is damaged and now he can't get home, unless. So that's what Amon is doing, whilst everyone else searches for the androids. And here it's going to be a bit different. Yamcha is not the one to find the androids this time. This time it's Ada. And once Ada and Dr. Gero eyes meet, Ada knows he's found the androids. Dr. Gero accompanied by Android 19, like canon of course. And here Dr. Gero tries clicking a button on a remote control he had in his hands. As a result of this, Ada starts yelling in agony, as if in major pain all of a sudden. Dr. Gero starts shouting about how he's been waiting for this day, to tame his untamable creation. Though after a moment, Ada stops yelling and just stands there, kind of limp, with his shoulders hunched over, head down with his arms hanging out in front of him. Dr. Gero makes a point about his spy robot, and how he'd known for years what Ada had been up to, and now, he's got him back. Though as Gero is boasting, Ada suddenly stands up proper and delivers a crushing right hook to Gero, who unfortunately was able to block the attack last second. Gero sighs and grabs Ada by his skull and tells him, "Looks like we have to do this the hard way," and starts tightening his grip on Ada's skull. Digging into it, Ada can hear the cracking from inside his own head. As a last-ditch effort, Ada tries to use a mouth beam at Gero, though Gero, having such fierce grip on his head, just pushes his head back, making Ada fire the beam into the sky. And this alerts the others immediately, but they aren't fast enough, as when they arrive, Gero had just crushed Ada's skull, whilst retrieving a chip from it. Suno, being able to see this, is very aware of what Gero was holding onto, and is furious, because it's basically Ada's brain. Bursting into Kaioken times 20, she darts right for Gero, though is interrupted by 19, who Gero tells to distract them, whilst he himself makes his getaway. And while he is doing that, he shoots key balls at the ground to create a gigantic dust cloud to cover his escape, also damaging the city greatly, making everyone present pretty pissed. Krillin sneaks off from the group to tell Gero as silently as possible, as he was the only one to still keep an eye on Gero, as everyone else is focused on Android 19. After a moment's fight, Suno is a little banged up, though she did rough 19 up a bit herself, her fatigue mostly stemming from the Kaioken itself. Eventually she throws in the towel and Goku takes her place, going into Super Saiyan straight away. And this fight goes as you would expect, exactly like canon, with Goku over time succumbing to the heart virus. Though the difference here is Gero isn't around anymore. And it's at this moment Vegeta arrives, he himself making a note that there should have been more Z-Warriors present. Vegeta noticing that Amon and Krillin are nowhere to be seen. Though Vegeta shakes this thought off and interrupts 19 from killing Goku, giving that whole speech that if anyone's killing Kakarot, it's him. He turns Super Saiyan and faces against Android 19, asking him if he can feel fear, and then takes little time dismantling Android 19, capping off with his new attack, the Big Bang attack. After 19 is dealt with, everyone notices that Krillin is missing, and given the time span of when he went missing, they think it's a good idea to go find him. Gohan and Suno, however, stay behind to take Goku home to take his medicine, but also to take Ada's body back to Capsule Corp, as by now, Bulma and Tights would be back home, or at least on their way. Even though that's not Tights' home, they're just gone there for now. But back with everyone else, who are now in search of Krillin, and all of a sudden they feel his key spike. To explain, let's go to Krillin and about a few minutes prior. Krillin, like canon, ends up following Gero to his HQ, but the way this happened is slightly different because of what I said earlier. Though by the time Gero arrives at his base, he notices Krillin behind him. He raises his power as high as he can to get everyone's attention, which it does. But Gero takes a little time in beating Krillin down before retreating into his base, closing the doors behind him. Krillin then eats a senzu bean that he tucked into his waistband whilst everyone else arrives on scene. Krillin tells the others that Dr. Gero had taken Ada's chip into the base, and from inside the base, Gero knows he only has a limited amount of time before someone is able to break down that door. Krillin basically foiling his plan to steal Ada for himself. Gero just looks at his schematics for his Ada Mark II and just sighs, as Gero is forced to awaken Android 17 and 18. Figuring if Krillin's allies arrived on scene, that has to mean that 19 must have fallen in battle. And Gero waking 17 and 18 up results in what you would expect. They end up slaying Gero as the Z Warriors finally blast down the door. 17 and 18 then wake up Android 16 as Boxer arrives on scene. And at the sight of 17 and 18, he goes to use his burning attack at them, but is stopped by Krillin and Chi-Chi, telling Boxer that Ada's chip, which is basically his brain, is in there, and they can't let Boxer damage it. Boxer does stop his attack, though is very impatient about it. 17, 18, and 16 end up telling the Z Warriors they're leaving to go find Goku, obviously with the intent to kill him. They then fly off, but not before being tailed by Tien, Piccolo, Vegeta, Chi-Chi, Yamcha, and Boxer, whilst Krillin quickly ducks into Gero's base to grab Ada's chip/brain and flies off in the direction of Capsule Corp. The androids then suddenly land on a nearby highway, this being because 17 wants to drive a car, but a moment later the Z Warriors arrive, this only seeming like an annoyance to the androids. Vegeta is pissed for the usual Vegeta reasons, and ends up facing off against 18 like canon, even to the point where 17 tells the others if they try to help Vegeta, he will take them down himself. Boxer goes Super Saiyan and still tries anyway, getting backed up by everyone except Yamcha this time, who's just kinda standing there fully aware at this point they've got no chance. And it's not long before 17 has Piccolo, Tien, Boxer, and Chi-Chi knocked down before him, whilst Vegeta is fighting Android 18. And while at the start of the fight it seemed like Vegeta had the edge, and it looked like he was going to win, though the longer the fight went on, the worse his chances looked. This mostly being from the infinite energy engines the androids have, and the large stamina drain Super Saiyan has before they master it. By this point, Vegeta is left as a shell of himself with a broken arm, having his Super Saiyan pride crushed by Android 18, though they are let live for the same reasons as canon. The androids tell Yamcha to use the sensor beams on them before they die and fly off to find a different road to steal a car from, though not before they go back to Gero's base themselves to blow it up. My reason for this is that I assume they would be smart enough to do it themselves, knowing that a lot of data on them is housed there, data that could be used against them. And yes, that means in this what if, the androids actually swipe the schematics of themselves before blowing up Gero's base, making the deactivation button impossible to make now, because I don't see them holding onto those schematics, I see them destroying them. Yamcha gives everyone a sensor beam and they recover from their injuries. Vegeta with his shattered ego flies off at the moment he's healed. Piccolo here is a bit more conflicted than in canon because he has a couple of ideas on his mind, though he still makes those out of character idle threats to the others and flies towards the lookout. Boxer, Tien, and Yamcha decide to head to Capsule Corp to check up on Ada, while Chi-Chi and Krillin head over to Goku's house to move him to a safer location. But with that said, that's about all I've got time for in this part. I hope you all like this one, because this arc in particular is going to be a fun one in this What If. So like and sub if you enjoyed the video. I've been the Dragon Ball What If Bro, and I will see you guys next time.